Strong Enough merch is now available. Go to strongenoughpod.com and check out all the stuff that you can get so that you'll have those daily reminders that you are strong enough and you are worth it. Welcome to the Strong Enough podcast, where we talk about the challenges and celebrate the triumphs of people just like you. I'm your host, Claudia. Today's guest is going to share her 7 pillars of abundance. She's also going to share her past and why it became important to her to help empower other women to experience freedom, abundance, and resilience. Please help me welcome Rebecca Whitman. Rebecca, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. How are you, Claudia?
I am doing great, and I'm so excited to have you here today. I think we are going to have an amazing talk, and I would love it if you would start by telling the audience a little about yourself.
I'm excited for an amazing talk too. So a little bit about myself. I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I was told that everything had to be perfect on the outside. So I became a nationally ranked tennis player, graduated from Princeton. I moved to New York City and I started in my sales career. And I finally had enough money saved up to pursue my real dream of being an actress. So I moved to Hollywood about 20 years ago. And I had small parts on big shows like Friends, CSI, 24. And I wasn't able to quite make a full-time living with it. So I had a lot of free time. And in that free time, I studied a lot of great spiritual teachers like Wayne Dyer, Marianne Williamson, Abraham Hicks, Michael Beckwith. And what I was able to do was combine my sales acumen with metaphysical teachings. And I was able to make a 6-figure income working part-time. So fast forward to the worst year of my life. My dad was dying as my marriage was unraveling. And in my last conversation with my dad, he said, Rebecca, you have such a unique lifestyle and worldview. Why don't you write something? My dad's funeral was on a Wednesday. My divorce was finalized on a Friday. And I was in my financial planner's office a couple months later. And he said, Rebecca, I'm looking at your financial portfolio and you're having the best year ever. But yet I know you've had 2 very tragic events, your divorce and the loss of your dad. What are you doing? How are you able to live this way? And I said, that's exactly what I'm going to write my book about, Claudia. It's going to be called How to Make a 6-Figure Income Working Part-Time. It's not a business plan. It's about how I live my life. I divide it into 7 pillars of abundance. So when life happens, when life lives, I don't have to fall apart with everything. So that is a book that I wrote in 2018 that launched my coaching career, which turned into a podcast called The Balanced, Beautiful, and Abundant Show. And the theme of the podcast is we're taking women from burned out and overwhelmed to balanced, beautiful, and abundant. Now I coach women one-on-one, do group coaching and international retreats, and it's all about empowering women to have a life of joy, ease, and spiritual dignity.
You gave us so much to dive into there. I want to start with 2 things. One, I have seen every episode of CSI at least probably 6 times and feel like I could act in any role in each episode. So I'm super stoked to go back in there and find your episodes. So we're going to have to talk about that later.
Well, I was extra, so don't get too excited. It's just like, I was like in a couple walking into the casino. You're talking about CSI Las Vegas, right?
Yes,
For the
yes.
man. Yeah, I mean, if you find me, God bless you. I'll give you like a $25 Starbucks gift card because I don't think I could find me. But yeah, that's what I said, small parts in big shows. But hey, the camera was on me as I was walking into the casino. So you never know, you might just find me.
That's right. If you give me an episode hint, I bet I can find you. So,
Well,
yeah.
I'm going to challenge you. I don't know. That. It was
All
early.
right.
I'll tell you the year that I shot it. That might help.
Yes.
Because the show was on so long. I think it was in 2001.
Okay, perfect. So challenge accepted. I am going to find you in CSI. The other thing that I want to bring up is I apparently have a knack for bringing people on the show that age like vampires. Because when you said you had been in Hollywood for 20 years, I'm thinking, well, she must have gone there when she was 12-ish. So thank you for continuing my streak of having guests that are doing something right in life because they look absolutely amazing.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I just turned 51 this year, and it's a lifestyle, it's being happy, and it's going to be in my link in my bio that I'm going to send to your listeners. There is like a little beauty secret I have. I do drink this awesome liquid collagen that has helped me like age in reverse, so I can't take all the credit.
Well, you can take the credit because you do it, because
Yeah.
a lot of us think, but we never actually take the action step. And I think, we're probably going to get into a little of that. I would like to start by asking you a little bit about the tragedy and the traumas that you went through with your dad passing away and then your marriage ending kind of all at the same time. What did it feel like for you to be going through these issues, these traumas, both together simultaneously?
Yeah, it actually it was a really challenging period of my life. I was in LA and my dad was like rotting away in a nursing home in Cincinnati. And actually going to the nursing home in Cincinnati and spending time with my dad was easier than being in my marriage, because I was with my dad and I was being of service, and he was 91 years old, so he had lived a full life, and I felt sad. Like it was more sad just being in a nursing home than spending time with my dad, just seeing everybody just slobbering watching TV. I'm like, oh my God, is this where it's all going? But the conversations with my dad, he was sharp, and we had really good conversations, and we left no stone unturned. I left everything out on the court, so to speak, or the field. I'm a tennis player, so I say court, but it was beautiful. It was sad, and but I felt like I said everything and he said everything, and it was so beautiful. But then I would come back to my marriage, and I knew that it would be the same dynamic of constant criticism, threats, just challenging me. And I just was like, oh my God, like I would get off that plane at LAX airport and go, oh my God, I can't believe I'm walking back into this. And that's how I knew, because I only was married 3 years, and getting a divorce was a really hard decision because I really, wanted those vows to be forever. But the feeling that I had when I would just get out of the plane and going like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to walk into, because it was so up and down. One day it's normal, the next day it's like screaming, fighting. That was more traumatic than losing my dad. But then the opposite, when it was resolved, when my dad finally did die and make his transition, that was like gut wrenching. But when the divorce was finalized, that was like a relief. That was like a celebration that I got to go back to myself and not be in this
Mm.
dynamic that I knew wasn't good for me.
You mentioned earlier that growing up, you kind of learned or adapted to everything has to be perfect on the outside. Did that make it more difficult for you to decide to end your marriage? Because even though it wasn't healthy, now you're letting the cracks show per se to the outside world if you go through divorce.
That's a great question. So on Facebook, we look like the perfect couple. We were like doing Hollywood premieres and walking the red carpet, and people thought we were like, so happy and in love. And we had a huge wedding with 300 people, and it was part of it. So what I really realized in leaving that marriage was a huge life lesson is it's better to feel good than to look good. And I had to choose myself over other people because, I'm born alone, I die alone, they're not paying my bills. And I was like, I've got to feel good. And when I left that marriage, I was so relieved. I was like, I don't care if I ever fall in love again. I just want to be around positive, loving people, friends, pets, family. Like if somebody is critical, I'm done. Like I had hit my threshold of somebody, criticizing me. I'm not talking about constructive criticism that
Right.
will help performance. I'm saying like attacking me like as a person who I am, I'm like, I just can't do it anymore. And I have walked away from a couple of female friendships because it was the same dynamic. And it's so funny that who I was when I picked that husband was the same person that I was when I picked toxic friendships. So I've had to walk away from a lot of people in the last few years, but I'm finding that, well, now I'm happily married to the love of my life, and he's never even raised his voice to me. We're very harmonious and peaceful, and I'm attracting different female friends. So it's, as I made that decision that it's better to feel good than to look good and to choose me over anybody else, my whole life is transformed.
I'm so glad that you mentioned having issues or toxic female friends as well, because I think a lot of people never think about that. They think about toxic relationships as romantic relationships, and they never think that maybe they haven't picked the best friends or the best friends haven't picked them. What was it like for you to kind of realize that and to make that shift for yourself and to do things that were best for you so that you could feel good?
It was hard, I grieved my female friendships more than my marriage, because with my female friends, I really opened my heart and I really let them in. And I never thought I'd be like not in touch with these people. These were friends that I talked to every day, some for, 25 years. And there was a lot of grieving. And but still, even though I felt the loss of not having this person, I still felt more self-esteem because I don't want to be talked to in a critical, negative, mean-spirited way. And I believe in the saying, Claudia, go where the love is. And now I go where the love is, whether it's, friends, jobs, any situation. If I feel that little knot in my stomach of, oh my God, that was really hurtful, like I don't go there anymore. And I don't walk away with anger. I detach in a loving way and I wish them the best, but I just don't want to be around people that give me that, icky feeling of, oh my God, that's just a mean-spirited person.
There are so many people out there that want to do what you're talking about, but they don't feel that self worth. They don't feel that self love to say, I am worth better. What do we
Mhm.
say to those people to help them realize that, yes, you are, and you deserve good things and happiness as well?
Well, I used to be scared of being alone, and now I realize that if you break down the word alone, Claudia, it spells all one. So my spirituality, which is my first pillar of abundance, I build my life on my spirituality. So if I'm truly connected to God, to the universe, to source, spirit, whatever you call it, I'm never alone. And I have a higher power that loves me more than my mom does. So I would rather be alone, meaning all one with my
Mhm.
God, than in bad company. And I had to do a lot of healing alone, a lot of writing and reflecting and reading and sleeping and just a lot of healing alone. And it was awesome because I had never allowed myself to be alone. I was someone who was perpetually busy, like I was running from my pain, and it finally got to catch up with me. And it's kind of like when you really feel your pain, it's like having an emotional flu. Like you do feel it and it is really sad, but then it passes and you come out the other side and you're better than ever. So I just had to be willing to feel those uncomfortable emotions that I had been running from my whole life. And I got to the other side, and life is going to life. I'm sure there's going to be other loss, but I know now that the grief is it's just going to pass, and I'm just going to go through it. And grief comes in waves. Some days you're great, and some days you'll like hear a song or see a movie and it'll just release a lot of tears. And I can tell you now, after being through this period of letting go of a toxic romantic relationship and toxic friendships, that I've never been happier. I didn't even know it was possible to be this happy.
Let's talk a little about that because I love that you have the seven pillars of abundance. I feel like a lot of us focus on one or two things and kind of everything else falls by the wayside. But what you've created is really like a wraparound, whole person approach to wellness and happiness. So I would love if you would talk a little bit about how you created that and some of the things that you do amongst those 7 pillars.
Yeah, I would love to. So, what I like to teach women is to live a life of resilience, grit, and grace, and to be unapologetically authentic. And in order to have the resilience, grit, and grace, we can't put all our energy on one thing, because if that falls apart, then our whole life falls apart. So if you're putting all your energy on money and you lose your job, then you're nothing. If you put all your energy on a relationship and the relationship fails, and then you're nothing. So I really believe in living life holistically. And these pillars are in order of importance. As I mentioned, the first one is spirituality. For that one, I love having a morning ritual. And I have an amazing writing exercise that I'm happy to give your listeners. It's called my Daily Abundance Journal. I'm also going to give them another gift that we'll talk about. But I've been doing this Daily Abundance Journal for 30 years, and it's turned my thinking from negative to positive. It helps me reframe my day. So I think of it in like an excited way rather than a fearful way. The second pillar is fitness. I believe in body before business, and health is wealth. So I plan my day around my workouts, and I can say that I'm in better shape now than I've been since high school because I've been really consistent with my fitness. The next thing is emotions. So all emotions come from love or fear. Those are the two base emotions. So if you're jealous, cynical, bitter, resentful, anxious, depressed, you're in fear. If you're loving, supportive, compassionate, and bliss, ecstasy, that's happiness, that's all coming from love. So I have affirmations that help me switch my mind when I feel myself getting snagged by the fear channel. I have affirmations that help me go to the love channel. And affirmations have been amazing for me. The next thing is romance. So I believe you attract who you are, not who you want. So that's why emotions come before romance, because if you're negative, jaded, cynical, and bitter, that's who you're going to attract. If you're loving, positive, supportive, and compassionate, that's who you're going to attract. So like I said, I'm a newlywed. I've been married 8 months, and I'm with someone who we're on the same page for the first time. We're both, very loving, supportive people, and it's a whole different style of relationship. And I really believe in helping women find their soulmate. So that's one of my classes, Magnetize Your Soulmate. The next one after romance is mindset. So, or mental. People who are listening to your wonderful podcast, there's so much out there to support the mindset work. There's Audible, there's podcasts, there's YouTubes, there's, Zoom workshops, there's a million things. So it's like the golden age of mindset work. The next thing is social. I really believe that your vibe attracts your tribe, and having a group of people that can hold you high when life does happen. When I was going through that painful divorce, I did have a group of women that were holding me up and carrying me through it. So I believe that community creates immunity, and it's very important to find a community, whether it's, church, temple, fitness, yoga, bikes, tattoos. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Whatever your community is, tap into that. And finally, finances. So everybody thinks finances come first. They think I'll make a ton of money. I'll get enough money to hire a personal trainer. I'll be in great shape. Then I'll be ready to date. Then my, boyfriend or husband and I will do mindset work, and we'll go to seminars together, and then we'll socialize with other couples. But in my experience, finances are the last piece of the puzzle to come into play, because when you are happy, healthy, and love and having great friends, then money and opportunities just flow to you through the law of attraction. And that's exactly what's happened to me. There's been so many things that found me just because of who I'm being in the world. And that is what I'm going to end with. I know I've been talking a long time, but I used to be a human doing and just do till I was exhausted. And now I'm a human being. And when I'm being loving, compassionate, playful, patient, a lot more things come to me financially.
I love that finances are last because that is not what anybody would expect. As you said, How tough was it for you to kind of make that shift in your mindset? Because society, it's all about keeping up with the Joneses and, looking at social media and seeing people's best moments and wanting to match those. So, how tough was it for you to say, wait a minute, if I do all this other stuff, the finances will kind of take care of themselves or they will come along with everything else?
It is hard. I call what you're talking about compare and despairism, where people are comparing how they feel on the inside to other people's outsides. But there are so many examples we see of celebrities and wealthy people that are like suicidal or drug addicts, or poor Anne Hayes, she just drove her car that was like a block or two from my house. She drove her car into a house. So I mean, I just see examples of people who have made a ton of money and been successful if they don't have a good spirituality or inner life or health. Or you could be wealthy, but if you're not healthy and you're in a hospital, what good is all your wealth? So I've just learned from looking at other people that all that outside stuff, it looks good, but it's not sustainable if you don't have a good inner life. And, recovering from abuse is a lot of how I talk to myself, because I really believe that I attracted someone who talked to me the same way I did in my own head, in my own self-talk. So a lot of my healing is having a kinder, compassionate inner dialogue. And the more I do that, the easier it is to, attract money and attract love and attract healthy friendships.
I never want to say that anyone deserves abuse because they do not, but I really appreciate what you said that you feel like you attracted somebody who spoke to you the same way that you spoke to yourself. It's often really easy for us to look at that other person and yes, it is their fault because they should not be abusive physically, emotionally, mentally. But how difficult was it for you to kind of acknowledge and say, you know what? I speak to myself this way, so I'm allowing other people to do it too.
Well, I believe in going from victim to victor. Staying a victim is a choice, and it was only keeping me disempowered, because if I am a victim, I'm powerless. And I get to reframe things into taking my power back. So if I say, you know what, I chose this person. Like, he gave the signs early in the relationship that he wasn't a nice person, and I chose him. And also on a subconscious level, like I was saying, I was talking to myself in such a harsh, negative way that when I attracted someone that talked that way, I accepted it. Because if I was healthier, like the first time he said anything mean, I'd be like, go F yourself. But because it was familiar in a way, and then also there's the whole rescue fantasy, like, oh, I can save him. I can teach him how to treat me. I can, be the person that shows him the light. And, I've wasted so much time and energy on so many relationships trying to be the teacher and the preacher. Like, that's not my job. They either know how to treat people or they don't. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't want to be disempowered anymore. So I choose to say that I'm a victor. I have a part in everything. There's always a dance that's happening.
Why do you think so many women do that rescue have that rescue mentality? Because I know I've done it. Everybody could probably raise their hand right now to say, "Oh, but I can change him. I can be the one to fix it all." And it's always a lie to ourselves. Why do you think we do that?
I think women are generous and they're givers. And it's like, seeing the little bird with the broken wing in the middle of the road. It's like, oh, I'll save the bird. I'll find his nest or teach him how to fly, or, help him heal. And I think women are just generous and they're nurturers, and they see men that are broken spirited or brokenhearted. And because we are so compassionate and generous, it's like, that kind of pulls on our heartstrings. Like, well, I can help him. I know how he can heal his, neuroses or broken heart. Like, I'll show you the way. So, and women get rescue fantasies, and they are fantasies because I still haven't changed anyone yet. So maybe I've wrestled them to the ground for like 2 seconds and they've changed, but then they always get back up and do their own thing.
One of the things that you talked about earlier is the importance of a morning routine and kind of setting the tone for your day and setting your mindset. Will you talk a little bit about how you discovered that was so important and why other people should do that as well and start a really great positive mindset morning routine?
Yeah, I think a morning routine is really important. God, I don't even know. I've been doing it for so many years. I started off just doing lemon water in the morning because one of my coworkers is like, your skin is going to look great. So I started with the lemon water, and then I added the collagen, which I mentioned before, and then so it goes the lemon water, the collagen, then I add a hot drink, either tea or coffee. And then I found like a little cozy like corner of my couch where I have all my spiritual books and my journal. And it's really like, even if I just do 5 to 15 minutes, it doesn't have to be like a long time to get into that little cozy nook. And I'll write in my abundance journal, read something spiritual, close my eyes for a couple seconds or 5 minutes and do some meditation. I just, it makes my day go so much better. And then the days that I do rush, because sometimes I don't wake up on time, and then I'll just do it as soon as I can. So I can still do the morning routine at lunch or whenever I can fit it in. But I just think that it sets the tone for the day. I also like right now when I wake up, while I'm just like going to the bathroom, washing my face, brushing my teeth, listening to something positive, because what you listen to right when you wake up and right before you go to bed like goes more into your subconscious because you're only half awake. So I love listening to a positive YouTube video or a podcast or an Audible. I really just, it takes a hold of my brain before I can go into fear-based thinking.
I'm kind of grinning over here because I'm thinking about myself. When I go to sleep at night, I either watch Dateline or I listen to a true crime podcast. So maybe that's not the best, most positive thing to do right before I go to sleep. What do you think?
I would agree. If you watch something that is like violent or dark right before you go to sleep, it will affect you subconsciously because your mind is processing that information. So maybe, watch your, crime show and listen to the podcast. And then the last, 10 or 15, 20 minutes before you go to sleep, listen to something like more uplifting and positive. But yeah, it's probably not the best. People do that with the news though. I mean, the news
Mhm.
is just so dark and doom and gloom, and they listen to it right before they go to bed, right when they wake up, and then they wonder why they don't have a happier, more abundant life. Well, they're sandwiching their day with negative messages.
And you are talking about me right now because, yes, I wake up in the morning, I turn the news on, and then we just talked about my nighttime ritual. So I am going to change that immediately because I believe what you are saying that, these two core times, I could really make a shift just by watching or listening to something a little different.
You really could, and you can catch the noon news if you want to be caught up. But yeah, I will. When you sandwich your day with positive messages, it goes right into your subconscious, and you will definitely see a difference.
I want to talk to you a little bit about side hustles. I think a lot of women have them. For me, this is my side hustle and I love it. It's therapy to me. But I feel like a lot of women sort of get trapped in that they think, "Oh, I got to do something else because I need the money or because I need, to take care of my kids or whatever." So, talk to me about the importance of a quality positive side hustle.
Yeah. So a lot of coaches tell you to quit your job. Business coaches are like, quit your job, max out your credit cards, go all in, because then you'll be forced to make it happen. And to me, that's a masculine paradigm, like do or die, sink or swim. When women are in survival mode, they are not attractive as people you want to do business with because we're desperate. And nobody wants to do business with someone who is giving off that, oh my God, pick me, choose me. So if you have your regular job, you're paying your bills, you're comfortable, you can do your side hustle out of fun. I like to say from passion to profit. So one of the gifts that we're going to give your listeners is a quiz, discover your life purpose, and find out what your passion is. Like, what are you really good at? What would you talk about even if you didn't get paid? What do people come to advice for you on? Like, what do you really love to do? And it's not even that hard. It's just a gift. Or what kind of things do you like to talk about? Are there certain products you like to talk about? I chose the collagen as my side hustle because everybody's been telling me all my life, you look so much younger than your age. So now I can tell them something that can help them. But what is it that you love to talk about? You love talking about, trauma, from trauma to victory, and these empowerment stories. So this is your side hustle. So when you find a side hustle that you love, it doesn't seem like work. It's like a passionate hobby or a passion project. And then I help women learn how to monetize that. I actually have a free masterclass, which is also on the link, and it's called the 5 Simple Shifts to Creating Your 6-Figure Side Hustle. And when you can monetize what you're passionate about, how does it get any better than that? And then if you want to quit your job, you can or not. I know women that are making a lot of money with their side hustle and they still choose to keep their job.
How exciting is it when you have clients who start their side hustle and actually see it monetize and are getting all that glory and fun and enjoyment and the money as well?
Oh my God. There's a great story I have about a client. Her name is Elizabeth. She used to be working in the mall in the floral store. And she found me on Instagram and she's like, I want to be a fine artist, like a painter. She's like, but I have no idea how to do it. I just work at the mall. And I took her through my Create Your 6-Figure Side Hustle program. She quit working at the mall and now she's actually selling her art online and in person. And I just met up with her a couple months ago when I was in New York City. And it was like, I don't have kids. It was like raising a kid, seeing them go off to college. I felt so, so proud of her that she went from working in a mall to being a fine artist. And it's the best feeling in the world when you see your clients take their passion and monetize it.
I know one of the other things that you focus on is a really strong work-life balance and making sure that we're not working too much and that we're giving ourselves the time and effort that we need to be happy. So what I'm hearing some people say is maybe, well, now if I do a side hustle, that's work too. So now I'm spending even more time working. How is it good to keep that work-life balance, but have your side hustle as well?
So it's all about time management. And I believe in setting up your schedule where number one, you build your day around your workout because health is wealth. And you have your focus days, your play days, and your power hours. So if you have a side hustle, look at your schedule and say, okay, I have 5 power hours a week. If somebody can just give 5 power hours a week, they can create a side hustle. You might have 10 or 20 or 30 hours, but you look at your schedule and you see, okay, I'm going to give this many hours a week, put it in your calendar. These are the hours that I'm working on my side hustle. And then as far as focus days and play days, give yourself a play day. Friday's my day off. Do I do a little work? I might return a couple emails or comment on social media, but I'm not doing the heavy lifting of phone calls, meetings, all that stuff. And when you're on your play day, have fun, do something fun for yourself. I don't know if that's going to lunch with a friend, going to a movie, taking a hike, getting a massage, whatever that is, really turn your phone off and try to disconnect and play. And when you have your play days, that rejuvenates you for your focus days. So it's all about creating a schedule that works for you. And yeah, having a passion project, having a side hustle is more time. But again, if it's something that you love and it's something that you're excited about and you budget it into your calendar, it's totally doable.
You've talked a couple times about fitness and staying in shape and how important that is to kind of your overall wellness and well-being. So let's talk for a second to the people who don't like to get off the couch. What can they do as some baby steps to start working towards a fitness program that's right for them?
I really love YouTube videos. So if you're not motivated enough to like get out of the house, put on your workout clothes, go to the gym, there's a lot of YouTube videos that you can do in your pajamas barefoot. And there's so many videos. Like I love this yoga by Cassandra. She has great yoga videos, Cassandra with a K. Orange Theory has tons of great free content. You can look up like beginner, fitness videos, and just start by doing the YouTube videos at home. And classes have been a big motivation for me because I don't want to pay a physical trainer and I'm like a class person. So I'm like, okay, if I have to sign up for the class in advance, I know I'm going to get charged if I don't go. So I'll show up and then I'll see other people doing the workout with me and feed off their energy. I'm a big believer in music. So if you have a music that you like, a mix or a channel or whatever, you can put that music on and just go for a walk around the neighborhood. Even if you could just walk 30 minutes, 3 days a week, it would totally change your fitness. And walking is a great place to start. If you like to dance, have a dance party for 10 minutes a day. Again, have your favorite mix on Spotify, your favorite channel on Pandora of dance music, and just dance for 10 minutes. Just move your body. Again, it's finding something that you enjoy doing, because if you hate going to the gym, then and you make yourself do it, then you're going to do what everybody does in January. They're going to buy a fancy gym membership and then never go because you hate it. So do you love to dance? Do you love line dancing? Do you love square dancing? Like, what do you love to do that involves fitness? Taibo, whatever it is, hip hop. Find something that you would just love to do anyway that is moving your body, and that will help you.
I love that you mentioned dancing because I occasionally do what I refer to as goofy dancing. So it is purposeful, ridiculous dancing, and it brings joy to my life. So I love that you brought that up. So everybody find that one little thing that you can do for just 10 minutes. And if you want to see me goofy dance, just, let me know and I'll send you a private video of me, like, doing the goofy dance for a little bit, but it definitely brings me joy. So how tough is it for some people to find that joy? Why do they sometimes feel locked into nothing makes me happy?
Because people have decided that they are their emotions. So instead of saying I'm feeling depressed, they're like, I am depressed. So I had a client, Brenda, who lost her mom and her sister, and she became a food addict and a hoarder. And after 20 years of being depressed and being stuck in that emotion, I helped her get unstuck because I helped her realize she's not the depression, that she was sad. Our soul, our spirit is like the sky, and emotions are like the weather. And when it's rainy, it passes. When it's sunny, it passes. So we are not the rain, we are not the sun, we're the sky. And, there are going to be sunny days and rainy days, but we just get to be human and alive and watch the weather go by, watch the feelings go by without attaching. So if somebody is stuck in negativity, I would encourage them that you're not sad, you're just feeling sad. It is going to pass if you just let it go and just not feel stuck in it. And doing all the things that we talked about, the morning ritual, the exercise, having a community, writing things out in a journal, all these things are going to help you move through this emotion, and you will get to the other side if you let it go.
So you talked about being a newlywed. You have been married for 8 months, and you also shared earlier your age. So you entered this marriage pretty late in life, or later than a lot of people. I know there are women out there who feel like, gosh, once I hit even 35 or 40 and I either haven't had a successful relationship or I've had to end a marriage or end long-term relationships, there's just no hope for me. How do they get past that and realize that there's always that chance to find your soulmate?
So I used to feel that women were only valued for their age. Then I realized that that comes from the patriarchy only thinking women are worthwhile if they can bring children to the world. And why would I want to make my worth based on whether I could bring children to the world or not? That's why women are considered less desirable as they get older. I realized that I can be beautiful at any age, and being wise, having life experience, knowing who you are and what you want, knowing how to take care of yourself, being a good person, those are incredibly beautiful and attractive qualities. So I would tell your listeners that feel that you're too old, you are not too old. Women are beautiful at every single age. And there are women in the nursing home in their 90s that are like finding love. So you are not too old. Like, you are the perfect age to find love. Everything is right about you right now. And don't believe that's men wanting to sell women a bunch of crap so they can, so if they buy this perfume or go on this vacation or buy this car, then they will feel young and sexy. But it's not about that. It's about just being healthy and beautiful at every age.
What is one thing that those women can do today, or we'll even give them till tomorrow, to start that journey of really loving themselves and understanding that they are worth it and that they are beautiful and attractive?
I would say to feel beautiful and attractive and to not give up. For me, what works is to dress up, to put on makeup, to think I'm worth it. Like, go ahead and dress up. That's your assignment from me and Claudia. Do your hair, do your makeup, wear something cute, and go out in the world. Go to Starbucks, go to the grocery store. And what I tell my clients, the international language of love is the smile. So to smile at everyone, not just guys, everyone, just give good, positive, loving energy and look your best. And it's amazing. It's like cognitive behavioral psychology. Like, you do the action and then your mind catches up later. So if you go out into the world and you're dressed up, you're feeling good, and you're giving love, you are going to attract interesting, not only men, but maybe friends, maybe financial opportunities. Like, you just got to go for it. Because if you stay at home on the couch, unless you fall in love with the pizza delivery man, like, it's not going to show up at your doorstep. You have to go out, and I like to call it present yourself to the world. Let the world know that you are here, that your heart is open, and that you are open for a relationship, and give what you want to receive. If you want to receive love, then give love first by going out and smiling at the world.
I love that you gave a little homework there because we do that occasionally on this podcast. So Rebecca and I want to see the pictures of you looking cute with the smile on your face in your amazing outfit. So that's your homework.
Yes, and tag us on Instagram.
Yes. So we're going to
Rebecca Whitman. I want to see the photos of you going out into the world looking cute with a smile, because everything is right about you. You don't need to lose 5 more pounds or get a better job or reorganize your house to find love. Someone is going to love you for exactly who you are.
I love that. So you teased this earlier. We're going to shift gears here before I let you go, and we're going to talk a little bit about tattoos. I want to point out again that it is August and I am still in long sleeves because it's really chilly here. But I love tattoos. I have tattoos, and I love hearing amazing tattoo stories. And Rebecca, I hear that you have a pretty amazing tattoo story. I would love it if you would share it with us.
Yeah, so I got a tattoo when I was 19 years old, and I was new in sobriety. I'm sober in Alcoholics Anonymous. And what I learned in one of my first attempts of working the steps and being on a spiritual path is that I was completely self-obsessed and self-centered, and it was all about me, 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 me. I had the theme song of I Am Always on My Mind. And I had this realization that there are billions of people in the world that have way worse problems than me. They can't eat, they don't have housing or indoor plumbing, and they don't even, maybe they're in a war-torn area. And just to get over my bad self, so I got a tattoo of the earth, the world, on my left shoulder blade. And people see it and they're like, oh, you're environmentally friendly and all this stuff. I'm like, nope, it's actually a reminder to myself that I am not the center of the world, and to be aware that I have it pretty darn good and that there are people who would love to be in my shoes.
So it has been a minute since that tattoo. Is there any chance of future tattoos?
It has been a minute. People think I need to get it touched up because it's kind of blurry, but if I got another one, it would be an angel on my hip. And I've been thinking about that for a long time. I would pick an angel because I really believe that angels are looking out for us and taking care of us and organizing and reorganizing our life so that all things are working for our highest good. And I love angels. So if I get another one, it would be of an angel on my hip.
I love that. Now, would you go same side hip or opposite hip as your shoulder tattoo?
I'd probably opposite to balance out the masculine and the feminine energy. So yeah, I would say on my right hip, I would get it.
I love that. Rebecca, I would love it if you would tell where people can find you. So if they, want to get some of these amazing gifts that you have talked about, if they want to talk to you about coaching, or if maybe they just want to have a nice cup of hot tea with you or find out the collagen that you're using, where can people find you?
Yes. So I am on Linktree and Twitter and Clubhouse at Rebecca E. Whitman, RebeccaEWhitman. I have a website, RebeccaElizabethWhitman.com. And I also have a Linktree that has all the goodies that we talked about. It has an awesome quiz. Maybe you want a side hustle, but you're not quite sure what it would be. I'm going to offer you a free Discover Your Life Purpose workbook. And I am also going to give you a $10 coupon off the collagen and offer you a free breakthrough call where you get a $500 value with a free 45-minute coaching session with me, where I will help you break through any of the things that we've talked about on the show. It might be a health and fitness block where you just can't get to the gym, or a romantic block where you don't know how to find love, or you don't have the courage to leave a toxic relationship. Any of the things that we talked about, I would love to support you with a free 45-minute breakthrough call.
Rebecca, you have been absolutely amazing. I truly appreciate you. And I'm going to jet now because I got to go get all that stuff off of your Linktree. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was great, Claudia.
I hope you guys enjoyed my conversation with Rebecca as much as I did. I truly appreciate her vulnerability in opening up about some of the traumas that she experienced and how she was able to create a better life for herself and now helps other women do the same. So remember, until next week, you are strong enough and you are worth it. Thank you for listening to the Strong Enough podcast. You can find us on your favorite podcast platform by searching Strong Enough. And on YouTube, we're on the Spear Talk channel. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Strong Enough Pod. If you have suggestions for an upcoming episode or a future guest, please reach out at strongenoughpod@gmail.com. Remember, you are worth it.